Hey, so hey everybody. So these are our notes for lesson 2. Also, a little side note for those of you who aren't aware, during the first 10-15 minutes of class, give or take, we are going over these notes in person on our Google Meets. First period's a little iffy sometimes because the technology doesn't work in there at the moment, but it should straighten out pretty soon. So if you ever want to cover the notes in person, be able to ask me questions directly, I'll just pop in class or pop in the Google Meet during class and ask some questions, and we'll go over the notes. So I'm going to make this change live, not live, but because this is actually over the midpoint formula, not the distance formula. My bad. So midpoint formula. I can use the midpoint formula to find the midpoint of a segment. So what the midpoint formula does is we take 2 points and two coordinates, x, y, for both. We find what point is directly in between those 2 points. So just to make sure you remember, a midpoint is the point in the middle of a segment. The midpoint formula is as listed here. You have 1 point labeled x1, y1, which will have actual numbers when we do it, but we'll still label it. And a point 2, x2, y2. In the midpoint formula, we add the x's, divide by 2, and that gives us an x coordinate. And we add the y's, divided by 2, get the y coordinate. So essentially, we're taking the average of the x's and making that our x coordinate, and the average of the y's, making that the y coordinate. And again, it's a formula used to find the point directly between the 2 points. So this should look pretty familiar because we're going to start out the same way. Let's make sure we can differentiate between x and y. Coordinates are in alphabetical order, so the x coordinate always goes first. We always have just one of each. So let's take our x's and bring it down here, and our y's and bring it down here. X here. I don't know why they did that, but why there? Okay. Now I do the same thing. These aren't labeled, but I know that this is my x. Still not sure what's doing that. And there's my y. Alphabetical order. X's go here. Y's go here. All right, so now what we need to do is we're going to split them up like we have, but we're going to pair them together. So we're going to bring our x's over here, and we're going to add them. We're going to take our y's over here and add them. Now, so we can look at it with actual numbers, so it makes a little more sense. We're going to take the x coordinates, which is this 2 and this 4. We're going to add them together, and they'll give me a 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. We're going to take this 3 and this 6, and I do not know why it's doing that. We add those together because they're my y coordinates to give me 9. And so I made a new point by adding the coordinates together. Now let's start the full midpoint formula because we have one more step, but that's just going step by step. We figured out which ones are our x's, which are our y's. We paired them up, and we started adding. Now the last step is we're going to let's take a look. Hang on just 1 second. Yeah, no, that's not supposed to be like that. There we go. I had these set up beforehand, and yeah, things didn't save. Oh, by the way, that's okay. We can work with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly like we did before. We're going to separate the y's and the x's. We'll add the x's together, but this time we're going to divide by 2. So using actual numbers, use green. I bring my 2 over and my 4. So I have 2 plus 4 divided by 2. So 2 plus 4, which I'll do my math up here. 2 plus 4 is 6. So 6 divided by 2. And on this side, I'll bring over the 3 and the 6. And 3 plus 6 is 9, and 9 divided by 2. And we're not done, though. We still have to do the division. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Though you could leave it as 9 over 2 because it's not even. So that means that this is the midpoint of these two numbers. So let's try practicing that with just some random numbers that pop in my head. Okay, so I'm going to give myself 1, 3. Then I'm going to give myself 3, 5. That should work out pretty evenly. So the midpoint formula says the midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2. That's for the x coordinate. Now for the y coordinate, we have y1 plus y2 over 2. Now if we plug these in, again, it's good to label them first. So I know I have an x and I have a y in both. So xy, xy. This is my first point, so I'll put 1s on here. This is my second point, so I'll put 2s on here. All right, so for my x coordinates, I replace my x1 with the number 1. x2 is 3, and I have divided by 2. Next, I'm not sure why that did that. And next, my y1 for this part here is the number 3. I really don't know why it's doing that, but it is a little inconvenient. Anyways, y1 is a 3. Just work with it, I guess. And y2 is a 5. And again, that's over 2. So now let's add the top parts. So 1 plus 3 is 4, so that gives me 4 over 2. Oh boy. And 3 plus 5 is 8, so 8 over 2. Now we do division. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So this right here says that 2, 4 is directly in between 1, 3 and 3, 5. And that's the basics of the midpoint formula. So if you have any questions, just let me know.